Good day, students. Today we're going to look at the solution to number 2 long answer. It's part of chapter 2 sample quiz found in book 1 of your math 1026 booklets. And it's asking us to solve the following system by multiplication addition, or often referred to as elimination. Now the words imply a certain method. Multiplication addition means to multiply and add together, and then elimination implies that multiply, add together, and eliminate a variable. So we want to eliminate, get rid of one of the variables. Now we can do that if I have different signs. Like if I had 5x plus 3y equals 8 and minus 5x minus 2y equals 10. What do you notice happens when I add? We eliminate a variable. When I add 5x minus 5x, of course, is 0x, or simply 0, right? So we eliminate a variable. That's what we want to do, eliminate. Now the other ones would add up to be y, and this one we get 18. So how do we get it? Well, notice what we have. Same number, 5 and 5, but different signs. One is negative, one is positive. So when they add, they eliminate. So we want the same coefficient, but different signs. Now if you notice here, I have the same coefficient, but I have the same sign. So how do I get rid of that? Well, I choose to multiply by something to make sure I get the same number but opposite sign. So I'm going to multiply the top equation by -1. So I'll write it, put a circle around it so you can see it. Now I'm going to multiply every term by it, because if I multiply that by it, I must multiply that by it. So you multiply every term, so you're not changing the value of the equation, you're just changing how it looks. Now what does that become? It becomes negative 6x, negative 1 times positive is negative 2y, equals negative 1 times negative 2, which is positive 2. Now the bottom one I did not change at all, so I'm going to leave that as 6x minus 9y equals negative 2. Now watch what happens when I add those two equations together. The negative 6 and the positive 6x cancels. In other words, eliminate it. I just eliminated the x value, right? And if I add the other two, I get negative 11y equals, and 2 plus negative 2 is 0. Oh, so when you have a coefficient times a variable equal to 0, your answer will be 0, because if I continue this to the next step and divide each side by negative 11, 0 divided by anything is still 0. So the y coordinate of our solution is 0. Now, how do we do the x value? Because you're not finished. Remember, the solution to a system is an ordered pair. So I put this, and I could put it back in either of these equations. So I'm going to put it back in one of these. Doesn't matter which one. I'll pick the top one. Okay. So sub this back into one of these equations. I'm going to pick the top. So sub in for y. So I got 6x plus 2y equals negative 2. 6x plus 2 times the y, which is 0, equals negative 2. So 6x equals negative 2. Now divide each side by 6, giving us negative 2 over 6, which reduces to negative 1/3. Okay, both are divisible by 2. Oops, 1/3. Both are divisible by 2. See that? 2 divided by 2 gives you 1, and 6 divided by 2 gives you 3. So therefore, bringing both of these together, I'm saying my solution is negative 1/3 for x, comma 0 for y. How can I be certain? You can be certain by checking it. And how do you check it? You can check it by substituting into each of the equations. So I'll pick, say, the top equation first. 6x plus 2y equals negative 2. So 6 times negative 1/3 plus 2 times 0 should be negative 2. Now I'm going to put a little question mark over the equal sign, showing you that I'm testing this value. 6 times negative 1/3 is negative 6 over 3. Plus 0 equals negative 2. Negative 6 over 3 is negative 2. Add to 0, still negative 2. So it does work in the first one. Checking the second one, okay, which is 6x subtract 9y equals negative 2. I get 6 times negative 1/3 minus 9 times 0 equals negative 2. 6 times negative 1/3 is negative 6 over 3. Negative 9 times 0 is 0 and equals negative 2. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 0, still negative 2. So this one works as well. So now I'm definitely sure that my answer, negative 1, negative 1/3 and 0, is the correct solution. Okay, hopefully that helps. Bye for now.